What a regular season it has been here in the Wawa Cup Series. 19 races in, and today it is the last race before the chase in the Wawa Cup Series. 12 drivers will be making the run for the championship here today. 5 of them are already locked in, but still 7 spots left to be determined here in the Cracker Barrel 400 from the Nashville Superspeedway. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to Nashville, Tennessee. We are here for the 20th and final race in the regular season of the Wawa Cup Series 2023 season. What a regular season it has been, and it all comes down to this for some drivers. Of course, like I mentioned, 5 drivers are already locked into the chase. They have nothing to worry about. They're going for the regular season title, but they don't have to worry about not being in contention for the championship. Drew Webb, Thomas Troxell, Nicholas Amadeo, Chase Buck, and LJ Cimento are all locked into the chase here for the Wawa Cup Series. We still have ourselves 5 other spots in the top 10 to determine, and then the 2 wild cards. And let me tell you, it's going to be complicated trying to figure it out. I will throw a disclaimer out that I would normally have the points as they run in the corner of your screen, but I'm not going to have enough time to do all of that because I leave for vacation 2 days from the day of me recording this race, and in order for this to go up at the right time, I got to get it done now, and unfortunately I'm not going to have enough time to do that, but we will do our best to figure it out as this race goes along. Nathan, you can help me out with it. What a season it has been, and it's been very fascinating these last few races. The road courses really shook some things up. We got some guys who are just above that cutoff and just below that cutoff. Who do you think is going to have the advantage here today in making it into the chase, and who do you think is going to be left out to dry in this year's Wawa Cup Series Championship?
Boy, oh boy, it's been a regular season and a half, to say the least, and it's going to be very, very tight. For the top 5, they are easily in. But for Matthews, Cole, Tuck, Pullen, Vieira, and everyone else, just trying to point their way in is very, very tight. And then, of course, for the wild cards fight is also very, very tight. Drivers like Crampton and Ross and Perez, they can still mathematically point their way in and not have to worry about the wild card fight. But if some drivers are in the top 10 but have a wild card, then that complicates things even more for the wild card spots. It's going to be complicated. The points are very, very close. Ali Vieira only in by 1 point, and then Perez only out by 1 point. It's very tight. I'm looking forward to it in Nashville, and just see if who gets the guitar, and we'll see if who makes it into this Wawa Cup Series chase.
It's going to be very, very interesting. The points are up on your screen right there. Like I mentioned, Drew Webb, he's 90 ahead. He's good to go. And he's in a good position to win this regular season championship. Thomas Troxell does start on the pole today. That is Troxell's 4th pole of the season. That's the 7th pole for Pacific Racing this year. They've been really good in qualifying. But Troxell's 79 ahead of the cutoff. He is 11 points behind Drew Webb. Nicholas Amadeo is 20 points behind Drew Webb there. He still has a mathematical chance at the regular season championship, even though he hasn't won a race yet this season. Chase Buck 58 ahead of the cutoff. LJ Cimento 54 ahead of the cutoff. Both of the Titan Fury racing cars and both of the Pacific racing cars are locked in. Nicholas Amadeo for Appalachian Motorsports also locked in as well. Then Dylan Matthews 22 points ahead, and he's kind of on his own in terms of his own little scenario. He starts on the outside pole. He starts up front. He's 22 points ahead. So realistically, all he needs is just to have a decent run. He's good to go. But then this is where things get very interesting. Seth Cole, 10 points ahead of the cutoff. Matt Tuck, 8 points ahead. Tanner Parton, 7 points ahead. And Aliera had her camshaft go bad at Road America. That sent her way back in that race. Only 1 point ahead of the cutoff, and Braden Perez has been on the upswing as of late. Very strong in that 23 machine, finished 3rd at Road America last week. He's 1 point behind the cutoff. Both Yera and Perez have wins, so they can fall back on that win in the wild card if they are 11th in the points. Ladovic Sharef does not have a win. 9 points behind And he needs to have a good day here if he's going to have any opportunity at making the chase. Same goes for Christian Master and Brad Stover. Those three drivers need to have good runs. They do not have a win to fall back on, and they need to be top 10 in points in order to make the chase. Echo Evans-Ross holds on to that last wild card. She could mathematically point her way into the top 10 if she has a good enough run, and same can be said for Travis Crampton, even though it's a slim chance, 26 behind the cutoff. Pretty much everyone else is too far behind to really have a shot at getting into that cutoff. But the wild card races where things are going to complicate even more. Seth Cole, Matt Tuck, and Aliera are currently top 10 in the points, but if they fall outside the top 10 and they're ahead in one of those top 2 positions, they could steal a wild card spot away from guys like Echo Evans-Ross, Travis Crampton, or maybe even Blaine Keys. If Keys has a good run here today, he starts 5th. Watch out for that. But Seth Cole, Matt Tuck, and Aliera, they're 35, 33, and 26 points ahead of the cutoff, respectively. Perez is 25 points ahead of the cutoff, and Echo Evans-Ross 7 points ahead of Travis Crampton for that last spot as they run right now. But if someone falls out, that line could end up moving up, and then Crampton and Echo Evans-Ross can be left out to dry. If Braden Perez does not have a good run in this race and Aliera falls outside the top 10, then Echo Evans-Ross and Travis Crampton may not have any shot at that wild card. Blaine Keys and Rogel Dorn, they still have a mathematical chance of getting that second wild card, but they essentially need to finish top 5, and for everyone else to really have issues in order for that to happen. It's going to be super tight, and hopefully I explained it well for you. We're going to go through the starting lineup, show you guys where all these guys are starting. You got Thomas Troxel on the pole, Dylan Matthews alongside him there, Drew Webb in the 3rd position. You got Blaine Keys there, starting 5th. He's got an outside chance, but he's there alongside Nicholas Samedillo. Samedillo going for the regular season title. If Drew Webb and Thomas Troxel now knock each other out, he could find his way into that position. There's Chase Buck in the 32 machine. Then you got Matt Tuck here. Good starting position for Matt Tuck and Aliera, who are really close on that cutoff line. As long as they finish top 10, they should be good to go. LJ Semeto's already in the chase. He's there alongside him. And a little ways back before you get to your next championship competitor, Rogel Dorn, way back in the wild card race. He starts midway through the field. Echo Evans-Ross starts 19th. And then quite a ways back to guys like Ludovic Charette here in the 61, 9 points behind. It's very interesting right here with Seth Cole deep in the field to start this race. He's only 10 points ahead of that cutoff. He may end up in a wild card position based on the way they're running. Travis Crampton right to his inside there. And then you have Tanner Parton very deep in the field there in the 42 machine. That's not good for him because he's only 7 points ahead. And then Braden Perez, not in a good position. He's 1 point behind the cutoff. He needs a good run here today. Now talking about this race, we're going to see more than likely 2 stops in this race. It could easily go caution-free, and that's where things can really get interesting here in this Cracker Barrel 400, because if we go caution-free, it's going to really come down to the ratings and just how well these guys have put their ratings in throughout the season. Obviously, that has come into play quite a bit so far this year, and we're going to see that come into play here today. But we're going to go ahead and get these guys to roll off here from the Nashville Superspeedway. And like I mentioned, Thomas Troxel and Dylan Matthews on the front row. Drew Webb and Brady Mardi Gras in row at number 2. You got Keys and Samedillo, Christian Vargas, and Chase Buck, and then Matt Tuck and LJ Semedo round out the top 10 starting positions. Nathan, who do you think is going to get it done in the race, and who do you think is going to be in those last couple of positions here in the chase?
Oh boy, this is going to be very, very interesting on what ends up happening here at Nashville Superspeedway. I think it's going to be Blaine Keys going to get the job done here today. And as far as the wild card, I hope everything is very, very simple on us. And I hope that, for my sake, Crampton makes it in on the wild card. And Echo Evans-Ross, no disrespect. But hopefully, if things are easy enough, those should just flip-flop and everything else stays the same. But that probably won't be a wild race here at Nashville for me to see.
It's going to be a really fun one. 75 laps, about a 30-lap fuel run for these drivers. And it really is anybody's race. And it's going to be a wild first couple laps, too. These guys going 3 and 4 wide around this place. Who knows what we're going to see? One race left to go before the chase begins. We're underway in the Cracker Barrel 400. Getting a little dicey back in there, but Thomas Troxel will lead lap number 1 in the number 62 machine. And very tight throughout this entire field here, but Troxel clear out and ahead in the 62 machine. Now, we saw this in the Sprint Series race yesterday. Luna Lona pulled out ahead initially, but Philip Torres had all the speed and was able to get that advantage. Blaine Keys is second. Good run for Matt Tuck. That's exactly what this team needs, and he's 8 points to the good. And if he finishes well here today, he does not have anything to worry about. Same goes for Aliera, who's now top 5. So those two are good. I'm intrigued by what's going to happen with Tanner Parton and Seth Cole. Parton's done a good job moving on that inside lane. He's already closing in on San Mateo, who started 6th. Of course, you saw San Mateo really lose it there on that first lap. Seth Cole, though, not doing too well. He's dead last right now in this 82 machine, and that would put him outside the top 10. Ladovic Short, another guy to watch out for, but he's deep in the field. Oh, tight right here between Brian Webb and Fisher G. And like I said, 4 wide here in Nashville. We're seeing that throughout the field.
A ton of 3 and 4 wide racing already. A couple of close calls, but meanwhile, can calm up the Trot, so loves the way he sees out front. And here comes that Evans Ross, made it 3 wide.
Good run for her here. Of course, had great runs. Of course, won Willow Springs, finished 9th at Road America after winning the pole. Still a good run for her, and she sits 7 points ahead of that cutoff. And the good thing for her, I mean, Seth Cole's kind of the wild card in this situation because Seth's not having a good run in this race, and we'll have to see if he can rebound in any way, shape, or form. But, Tanner Parton got shuffled out of line. He's way back, so that's going to fall Parton now. And then you got Braden Perez kind of in the middle of all this as well in terms of the wild card race. Something must have happened to Parton because he was right there with San Mateo. There's some tire marks going into the outside wall right there. I don't know what happened. Luna Lona off the pace in the 45. And everyone's still in the race. So we'll replay that in the corner of your screen right there. Oh, yeah. Parton, I think Seth Cole. Does Seth Cole have damage? I don't think he does, but Tanner Parton does, and that's huge. Parton's 7 points ahead, and he's got damage to his 42 machine.
I thought I saw something happen at the rear of the field, and it did tough wait for Tanner Parton. And here comes Matt Tuck to easily take second away from Blaine Keys. That inside lane seems to be the place to be now. Tuck can he close down Thomas Troxel here.
He might be able to do so. This 54 is looking pretty sporty here. Second fastest lap of the race. Of course, fastest lap goes to Troxel. Good run for Dracoan Racing Enterprises here, and I know Owen at least wants to get Yera in the chase here. And Allie's been top 10 in the points the entire season. She is currently in the worst position she's been in the point standings all season long in that number 5 machine, but trying to rebound right there. Justice Idell, our last winner's top 10. Trinity Ida here in the top 10. I think she finished top 10 last week at Road America, if I'm not mistaken. You got Philip Torres, who won the Sprint Series race. Drew Webb, though, you know that 99 is going to be fast as he comes into this race the points leader. Kind of fascinating right now, though. I think the way they currently run, Troxel would actually win the regular season title because he is leading the race. But they have single filed out there, majority of the field. Great run for Echo in this race. She's 11th now in that 39 machine. This is good news for Hamill Racing Enterprises, trying to get both of their drivers in the chase. Of course, Chase Buck in the 32. He's already in the chase. He really doesn't have anything to lose or gain for that much, except a couple bonus points in terms of where he's positioned going into the title race. Travis Crampton wants to get closer to that 39 because he knows he's battling with Echo Evans Ross for that last cutoff. Not a good run for San Mateo. He fell back initially, but he's trying to rebound there in the 59 machine. That's around the 20th position, around 18th, 20th. Perez there in 21st. And, you know, it's going to get kind of, 23rd, I should say. It's going to get kind of interesting with Perez here in the 23 because he's not going to get around Yera or Tuck the way they're currently running right now. But he might get around Seth Cole and Tanner Parton. And there's no one else really behind him that's really that close. You got Brad Stover, Christian Master kind of close to him in the point standings. Neither of those guys. Actually, Brad Stover might be ahead here. Stover is 13 points ahead coming into this race, but Stover's just a couple positions ahead of Braden Perez. So I think Perez right now is in position. Not a good run for Ladovic. He's kind of off the pace there, and of course Tanner Parton got involved, and he may fall outside because of that as well. So definitely going to get interesting. LJ Cimento back in here, but he's already locked in. Trying to keep tabs with all these guys, trying to keep tabs with the race lead. And Matt Tuck is closing in on Thomas Troxel for the race lead here in the Cracker Barrel 400.
Matt Tuck's had a lot of good speed, but also a lot of bad luck this season as well at one point in time. And now Tuck wanted to change things in the regular season. Can't quite get to the inside of Troxel, but we might have a battle for the race lead very, very soon between Tuck and Troxel.
And we may have it right here. Matt Tuck trying to close in here on this 62 machine. And great to see Matt Tuck finally have at least a decent run going for him. I mean, he had a good enough run to Road America to put himself back in the top 10. And I thought at the beginning of the season, when he got that win at Auto Club, dominated that race at Phoenix, almost won that thing, I thought Matt Tuck's the guy to beat this season. And then they just had so many bad things go their way. But for them to still be in this position, of course, his teammate Justin Zeidel got the win at Road America last week. So Grattan Autosport a bit on a high right there. And speaking of Zeidel, great run for him here in this race as well. Currently running 6th, looking to get around Aliera. Now, Allie's another driver needs a good run. She's only 1 point ahead of Perez for that cutoff, but the way they're currently running, they're in a good position there. And then Drew Webb, of course, trying to win this regular season title, and he is definitely in position right now to do that. As, you know, that's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. Step away for like 15 seconds, and then you get a pass for the race lead. Matt Tuck out front here at Nashville. This is the first time we've seen Matt lead a race in quite some time. But great to see him back out front here in this Cracker Barrel 400.
You know, it's not a AG the channel race with that having to happen at least once. Probably not the last time, but Tuck to the race lead, and now we might really be able to see the pure speed out of this 54 Ford Mustang as Tuck trying to pull away from the field. Might have to watch out for Troxel to try to maintain that gap here, because I think he still has a fast 62 machine, but now being in clean Delia for the first time this race, have to see how good or bad that car is.
Going to be interesting to see if Troxel has Matt Tuck's numbers as this race goes along. Troxel has not won since Martinsville 10 races ago, interestingly enough. I thought he was going to light up the season. And then the fascinating thing, we've yet to have a driver win 3 races this season, which I find incredibly fascinating because so many drivers have been absolute contenders for that. Troxel, I mean, Blaine Keys could easily win this one. See, Chase Buck is another driver, Troxel's teammate right there. And then also Echo Evans-Ross could have won at Road America, just didn't have the speed in that race to get to that point. But here she is, currently running in the 18th position. Falling back a little bit here. And Travis Crampton has actually gotten around her. That 98's looking pretty sporty here today. He started 27th in this race, now up to the 14th position. I know you're liking this, but there's just so many different factors here. And Seth Cole is one of those factors in the number 82 machine. It ain't looking too good for Seth Cole right now, sitting 38th. He does have that win to fall back on. He's 35 ahead of Crampton, so he's still ahead of Crampton. But then with Perez not really moving up, but Perez may get over Tanner Parton. There's just so many different factors that are out of Crampton's control in terms of getting that last wild card position. It's going to be fascinating to see what he can do. And we did it again. You know, we did it again. Troxel back around Matt Tuck for the race lead. Just so many things going on. We want to focus on this championship. The air is back to the inside of Zeidel. Drew Webb trying to get back around the 51 as well. But Tuck led a couple of laps, and then Troxel took it right back away.
Maybe we should just have 2 sets of cameras, one on the lead and one for the rest of the battles for the championship, because that's happened twice now. Troxel let Tuck have the lead, and now he might be pulling back away and pulling from Matt Tuck. Might have been saving his stuff here and trying to have a nice gap on Tuck. And as well as for Crampton, a little birdie told me that we put in the long one setup. So let's see how that was out for Crampton. Looks like it's doing pretty good. Started 27th and still moving his way up to the front. And still have to wait and see. Menace Racing is notorious for having bad pit crews, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But only 20 laps into this thing. Still a long way to go in the Cracker Barrel in a lot of different scenarios. Same with Dio, also starting to move his way back up to the front.
Yeah, and Crampton definitely is a long-run type of driver, and this may end up being a long-run race because these guys have spread out now, and I don't know, we may not end up seeing any cautions. Even though we did see that one little wreck there with Tanner Parton earlier on, it did not trigger a yellow flag, and it's not good at all for Tanner Parton, who may end up losing a chase spot because of that. But Crampton trying to get this here, won at Las Vegas earlier in the season, and kind of fell back quite a ways off that wild card, but has rebounded a little bit as of late. And I know you guys absolutely want to see that 98 get to victory lane at some point, but make this chase, and he could very well do so. Good runs for Chase Buck here. He's running ninth. Sam Medeiros rebounded after he lost a lot of ground there on that outside lane. Dylan Matthews there in 10th right now, but all Matthews needs is a solid run, and he's good to go. And you got Logan Williams here trying to get something to go as well. We had him in the booth last night for the Sprint Series race. We're going to go back to the race lead here. Matt Tuck has closed back in on Thomas Troxel. You know, both of these guys, they're pulling away 2.5 seconds on the field, but they have not pulled away from each other. And Matt Tuck back to the inside for the race lead on lap 22. And he's going to have this one here on Thomas Troxel.
Back and forth between these two. First it was Troxel, then it was Tuck. Then it was Troxel, and now Tuck trying to take the race lead back. Troxel trying to hang on tough on the outside lane. I've not seen this outside lane really work out so far here today, but Troxel trying to make it work here, trying to keep the race lead side by side in 3 and 4, but Tuck's going to get back.
And we got that one. Troxel, 3's the charm. So Matt Tuck back out front here at the Nashville Superspeedway. We're closing in on our first cycle of pit stops, and this is a 2-stop race, running a very small cell here. So only about 30 laps, and these guys have to come down, so it'll be a 2-stopper. Drew Webb, that may play in his favor as this race goes along. Definitely a long-run driver, but Matt Tuck and Thomas Troxel are going to be threats to win this race as well. How about Christian Vargas? Really haven't talked about him too much this season. Comes into this race 24th in points. He's run top 5 this entire race so far as Logan Williams and Alier is in the outside wall. That's not good at all. And I don't know if Williams just overshot the corner and got into her or what, but there is damage on that 5, and she cannot afford to lose any ground in this race.
Oh my goodness.
Now here's the thing. Yera does have those wins to fall back on in the wild card, so it's not the end of the world for her, but I know some of these other guys, like Echo Evans-Ross and Travis Crampton, do not want her to fall outside that top 10 because that's another driver. And you got Seth Cole. We could very well end up with a situation because of just how poorly Seth Cole is doing in this race. Let's see, where is he at? We could end up with a situation if Ali has to fall back to repair the damage on that 5 machine. You know, we could see Alier and Seth Cole end up being the 2 drivers who get the wild card positions, and that's not good for guys like Perez and Echo Evans-Ross, but the thing is, there's not really anybody else that can really surpass them in the points in that top 10. Perez is one of those guys who is moving his way back through the field here. Good run for him. He's now up into the 17th position, trying to close in on the top 10. He got a gaggle of cars right here, but Yera continues to lose ground in this 5 machine.
Yeah, that's not what Ali wanted to see happen here, and not really happy with Tony Aya inside of the car trying to make it into the chase, but oh my goodness, really tight right there.
Someone being very aggressive here today, and that's Logan Williams. That 95 is fast, but he got in the air. He's going to get around Vargas here. Watch out for Logan to possibly steal one. He is outside of contention for the chase. He does not have any chance of making it in, so he has nothing to lose here. And we'll have to see if Appalachian Motorsports can get their second win in the Cup Series, because they got their first win with their Sprint Series driver, Sam Oskin at Dover. That is a concrete racetrack like this one. Maybe be a good omen for that team. How about Troxel and Tuck? For clearing away the best 2 drivers in this race, both 3 seconds ahead of the field here on lap 28.
Only on lap 28, now lap 29, but it might come down to these 2. But might have to watch out for Logan Williams here. He is absolutely moving on his late one. Probably about to see pit stops in a couple laps, and if we can get a good one into the pits, might have to watch out for Logan Williams, knowing that he has nothing to lose here. But have to see what happens in the first round of pit stops at any given moment here.
think next lap we'll probably see some guys come in. Yara's fallen back to 14th after her run in there with Logan Williams, and under fire there from Angel Gutierrez. Meanwhile, Travis Crampton continuing to move up through the field. He's now up to 12th. And Perez in the 23. You know, I don't think it really matters in terms of Crampton, whether Yara or Perez get knocked out. I think it's Seth Cole falling out that may hurt Crampton's chances. Because Seth Cole's got 35 points on him, and that's just a little much for him to gain right there. No one coming down quite yet. Oh, Dylan Matthews and Nicholas Samadillo. We're going to have to see what strategy works out. We're going to see a wide spread here. Ludovic Charette is coming down. That's a big one there. If Ludovic can gain some time, of course, last time by he was 22nd, so he is moving up a little bit through the field, and he's 9 points off, so he could surpass Seth Cole and could surpass Aliera, but it's going to be tough to see. I'm intrigued to see what Ludovic does here on his pit stop, because Samadillo and Matthews are two guys who we kind of know are locked in. Ludovic is going to go, I'd imagine it's going to be 4 tires because there's a big tire fall off here. Troxel's come down. Matt Tuck is still out there. Vargas and Zidell. Crampton still out there as well. Ludovic Charette is off the pit lane. Dylan Matthews and Nicholas Samadillo. Samadillo off the pit lane. Dylan Matthews is off the pit lane as well. Bit of a slower stop there for Samadillo, but Samadillo's going to try to get around Matthews on the access lane. But he's going to have to let that 47 by. And there's Ludovic a little ways behind. We'll have to see if he gains any ground. These guys have to be careful. We'll have to hope a caution does not come out here because they are currently a lap down. Matt Tuck down for his first stop. Then you got Zidell trying to make a pass on Christian Vargas as they enter the pit lane here. And Zidell going for 2 wins in a row. He could have an opportunity if he has a good pit stop right here. And coming off the pit lane, there's Thomas Troxel in the 62 machine. Then you got Blaine Key, or actually, should I say, Logan Williams, who came down right with them. Here comes Dylan Matthews and Nicholas Samadillo trying to gain some ground, and I think they will. They're not going to get all the way up to the race lead, but they're going to definitely get some ground made up here. They're going to get around Blaine Keys and Chase Buck right there, and they got their warm tires, so they might close in on Williams and Troxel here. Meanwhile, we'll see where Matt Tuck falls out in relation to Thomas Troxel. I don't know how coming in a couple laps later is going to really help him out. And it does look like Troxel is going to beat him easily. That did not work for Matt Tuck. Not a good strategy for the 54, but all Matt Tuck really needs in this race is a top 15 run, and he's good to go. So they're going a little conservative here in this one. But how about Logan Williams? This 95's on a rail here in this one, and he could get his first win of the season trying to get around Thomas Troxel, who could end up being the regular season champion. Drew Webb in the 99. Where's my man at? Oh, boy, yeah. Not a good run for Drew Webb on the pit lane at all. He has fallen back tremendously, and that might lose him the regular season title as Thomas Troxel continues to lead this race. And I don't know how long he's going to lead it for, as Williams is right on the back bumper of the 62.
Logan Williams started to catch up a little bit on that late green flag 1 before pit stops, and I think he still has a very fast number 95, and a gaggle of colors, a 4-way fight. Third and Helio battle for the race lead, Troxel and Williams.
And Williams going to take it away from Troxel. May have learned something in the booth last night during that Sprint Series race. He's going to take it away here on lap 35. And I would like to point out that Aliera is a lap down in that 5 machine. And that is not good at all. Seth Cole in the 82, on the other hand, up to 28th. And that 5 is obviously off the pace because of her damage. Such an unfortunate break there. And Logan Williams is the one that got into her. Tanner Parton's also a lap down. I think that effectively ends it for Tanner Parton. Such a tough one there. He spent so much time top 10 in points. And in the last race, getting caught up in an accident there that is going to take him out of contention. Seth Cole. This is going to get kind of dicey here because Seth Cole may fall outside of the top 10, if that is the case. Yera may also slip outside, and I think it might be the 82 of Seth Cole and the 5 of Aliera, but Yera's got to be careful here because Echo Evans-Ross in the 39 is only 20 points behind her. And, well, Echo didn't have a good run. Echo's 32nd right now, so she's kind of left out to dry right there. So Seth Cole, Echo Evans, Ross, they've had terrible runs. Where did Ladovic end up filing in? 11. Watch out for Ladovic here. That 61 has done an excellent job rebounding in this race from where he started. He's now in the 11th position, and then Travis Crampton could sneak right in because Crampton's ahead of Echo Evans Ross enough. He's got 25 on Perez, and Perez is just ahead of him, so he can't get around Perez. This is going to be tight for that last wild card if Seth Cole falls out, but Ladovic could end up sneaking a position away from Tanner Parton and even Seth Cole, and that could really get interesting because Ladovic does not have a win. Seth Cole does, and that could really bump that line up and keep Crampton out. But Crampton's doing all he can. Now up to the 8th position as he gets around Eric Monaco for that one.
You know, even if Crampton does not make it in, I just have to give a huge credit to him because we were really far back from even making it in the wild card, and the last couple of road course races gained a lot of points to even be in this position, and now so 27th in this race, and he's inside the top 10. So I'm happy no matter what. But with how tight everything is, who knows what's going to happen? As Blaine Key's my pick to the inside of Sam Dio, easily going to take that third spot, and Ali Leal as well. Okay.
Yeah, she's a lap down, unfortunately, and had to repair that damage, and you can see it right there. Such a tough break for her. But maybe she'll get out of the way of these guys and let them battle. Matt Tuck actually will end up with that 3rd position after all is said and done. Then you got Chase Buck, Nicholas Amadio side by side. Dylan Matthews with a great run, and then Crampton here. Crampton's 8 seconds off. You got Eric Monaco, Brady Mardi Gras, Ladovic Charette there, still in 11th. Great run for Ladovic, and then Braden Perez there with a good run as well. I think Perez and Charette move up, take the spots away from Yera, Tanner Parton, and Seth Cole. That actually leaves another position. And now I'm looking at maybe, I don't know. It's not like Christian Master or Brad Stover are having any good runs in this race. Stover, that could be the biggest, I mean, not official wild card, but just general wild card, I guess, in this one. Because he'll surpass Aliera in the points, the way they are currently running. He'll surpass Tanner Parton in the points. I don't know if he'll have enough on Seth Cole, the way they currently run, because Seth Cole only 5 points ahead right now. That's a tight one right there, because Stover could sneak his way into that top 10 if things continue the way they are. With Parton and Yera both a lap down, 2 drivers who were top 10 in the points a lap down. I don't know. I just don't know. That's the thing. As Troxel, he knows what's up. He's going back to the inside for the race lead here on lap 43. It's been a great race up front, and Troxel's been a part of it the entire way through.
It's been Troxel versus Tuck, and then it's been Troxel versus Williams. Troxel, Williams, Tuck have the best 3 cars here. Tuck starting to pull away from Frank Key's back there, so I think my statement is correct. Tuck does have one of the top 3 fastest cars, trying to catch up with the top 2 before pit stops, maybe make a 3-way battle after pit stops. But what a show for the race lead. What a show for all the chaos between the wild cards. It's been a really good, clean race, and we still got 31 laps to go.
We do. We knew this race was definitely one a lot of drivers and teams circled on their calendars as being an important race, and you guys definitely hit the mark right with Travis Crampton in this one, no doubt about it. Braden Perez has gotten around Ladovic Charette. Ladovic now down in 12th, but Ladovic's on a good strategy, I feel like. Now, let's have to see how well it ends up working out for him here. But I feel like Ladovic is clearly going to jump Yera and Tanner Parton. And he might be able to jump Seth Cole. I don't think he's got enough to jump Seth Cole, but he's going to jump Parton and Yera, and I think move into the top 10. If he can finish right around top 12, I think he's going to do it. Because Yera and Parton are still 39th and 40th, and neither of them led any laps in this race. So Charette could very well file his way in. Seth Cole, I think, may end up with a wild card, or he could end up being 10th in the points. And that's the big difference right there, because Yera's going to fall back, and then it's going to be between Echo Evans Ross, Travis Crampton, Blaine Keys, and Crampton right now has it. So this is just a guess. The way they are currently running, I think the drivers who make it into the top 10, obviously I have everyone locked in. Dylan Matthews, we know he's in. Matt Tuck, you know he's in. Braden Perez moves into that top 10. Ludovic Charette moves into the top 10. And then Seth Cole gets the last position for the regular chase. Then it's Ali Yera and Travis Crampton in the wild card positions. I think that's the way it is as they currently run. Please don't quote me on that. I am doing that off the top of my head. I was pretty good at math when I was in school, so, you know, hopefully I'm right about that. But we still have a cycle of pit stops left to go in this race, and that is going to shake things up even more, and that could really get dicey. And Seth Cole's just not had a good run in this race, and I don't know. I think you want to be rooting for Seth Cole, Nathan, if you want Crampton to make it in, because Seth Cole cannot fall outside the top 10 and Crampton make it in to the wild card, because Seth Cole's just too far ahead of Crampton, and then Yera falls back, and then Crampton's just too far behind. So, I don't know. We're just going to have to see. Meanwhile, Logan Williams back to the inside here for the race lead. Closing in on 2/3 here in the Cracker Barrel 400 in Nashville, and Williams going to make that one look easy. I'm rooting for Logan Williams in this race. And though I really can't show and shouldn't show any bias towards any drivers in this series as the guy who runs it, but Logan has had a tough season, and one that has not been deserved at all. It has been pretty much all bad luck as the reason for Logan Williams not having a good season. Finally, having something go his way. Still has a cycle of pit stops left to go. But Logan Williams in a good position to possibly get his first win of the season here, and in a place where he almost won 3 years ago. So here's Arvin Alonso beat him in that one. So we'll have to see what Logan Williams can do here, if he can hold off Thomas Troxel and get the win. It's not going to be for the chase. He's too far behind to do that, but a win is still a win, and it'll be a good one, and a popular one there at the Appalachian Motorsports camp.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either for Logan Williams, because, like you said, bad luck season for the most part. Trying to get some kind of good momentum going into the last 2 races of the season. Might have to watch out for Tuck starting to close in. And I'm just going to point this out as a team owner. I'm happy that both of our cars are running good, but I am stressed out right now for this 98 I'm glad that I am only the team owner and not the crew chief or the driver or the spotter or anything else, because this is a lot going on. I really want Seth Cole to get a good one if what you said is correct, but he's been struggling all race, and with only 23 laps to go, I don't know, one more pit stop in about 8 laps or so is going to decide everything.
It definitely will, and Seth Cole up to 27th now. I think the good thing for Seth Cole is that Tanner Parton and Allier have had issues in this race, and he still has enough of a number on Christian Master and Brad Stover. So that there's really nobody else that can surpass him at this point. Perez in a position to move himself. He's 9th right now. Great run for Braden. And you know, for a driver who was outside the top 10 a majority of the middle part of this regular season, for him to climb his way back into that top 10, that is huge. And here's the big difference. The 2 wild cards will get 0 bonus points regardless of how many wins they have. They're going to start out with 2,000. If Perez moves into the top 10, he's going to get the 3 bonus points for his win at Phoenix, and then either 2 or 1 bonus points on top of that for his position in the point standing. So, you know, those points are going to go a long way. Every point counts, and especially once that chase begins, it's all about the points in those last 10 races between the 12 drivers. And Perez trying to get those points, get those bonus points going in. He's under fire, though, from Monaco, but Monaco going to be... Oh! Yeah, Perez kind of slid up there. And then you got Ludovic Charette, who just got passed there by Justin Zeidel. Rogel Dorn in 14th now. Drew Webb is 15th. And such a tough run for Rogel. I mean, Rogel would have been in the wild card race, I feel like, if Gateway did not happen. He was running top 10 in that race and then had a mechanical issue. And if he had finished where he was running at the end of that race in that AAA Missouri 300, he would be in position to make the chase right now. But just so many things went against his way in the last few races, and he outperformed this car. I mean, I've been telling him that. I've been telling everybody that, and I'm looking forward to seeing Rogaldorn in a better ride next year, because watch out, he's going to be hard to beat if he's in a good ride, and definitely excited to see what that might entail for 2024. But meanwhile, still a good battle here between Logan Williams and Thomas Troxel, and it's going to be interesting to see. Now, Blaine Keys, here's kind of the big wild card, because with Crampton running the way he is right now, Keys really has no chance at all, especially considering that Yair is going to fall behind. So Blaine Keys, even though he came 24 off the wild card there, really no mathematical chance for him, even if he were to win this race. But he's had an excellent run. He's running 4th, and he could end up still winning this race. And if he were to win, he'd be the first driver to win 3 races this season. How about that? Troxel's trying to do that. Logan Williams trying to get his first win. Tuck's trying to get his second win. You know, and a good run for Chase Buck in this race as well. And yet or should I say Sam Adeo, you're Stapleton. But your driver there, Mr. Stapleton, going to the inside. Crampton once again, just as you were saying, you guys have a long run car, and I'm seeing that right now as Crampton moves up to 6th here at Nashville.
One thing I do want to point out something. Not only is Travis Crampton moving his way up, but also Matt Tuck. It went from 3.5 seconds to 2.9 seconds. So I believe Crampton and Tuck were 2 of the guys that stayed out the longest during that first line of pit stops. Could those 2 or 3 lap fresher tires play into a slight effect here late? It might.
I think it does. I mean, the tire wear here, tire fall off, is similar to that of Darlington here at the Nashville Superspeedway. These guys really slow it down later on into the run. But here's the deal. We're going to have about 15 laps to go or so on that last run. I think you want to come down early on this next cycle here, so we'll have to see. Sam Adeo and Dylan Matthews were the first 2 guys to come down that last time, and Ludovic Charette has kind of fallen off, but Ludovic can do that same strategy and jump a lot of the guys ahead of him again, even though he's fallen down to 15th. Ludovic is going to pass Tanner Parton and Allier. I know that much for sure, and with that being said, I think Ludovic just needs to finish top 15. He's good to go, but I don't really think he can afford to fall back much more. We're just going to have to see if he can, in fact, hold on to it enough. Have it up to... Oh, Kukulon. Yeah, boy. Hey, Hairchill went 1-2 in the Sprint Series race last night. And I know that team is definitely going to be looking for different drivers next year. And we're just going to have to see. But you can't blame that one on the driver, unfortunately. That's a reliability issue. And... tough break for him. And here we go. Your driver, Trinity Ida, first to come down here. We'll have to see if she ends up gaining any ground in that 97 machine. And I would imagine we're probably going to see Sam Badillo and Matthews come down here. See if any of these guys come down. They're still staying out. They're going to have to come down here soon. If I'm Ludovic, ooh, he's going to lose another position right here to Christian Vargas. I'd be coming down here, but still going to stay out another lap. I don't know about that. Just don't know about that.
Of course, Aya, no way to any of the points for the wild card or again the chase. I guess the 917 line something. I don't know, because no one else has pitted yet. So I have to wait and see here. And still no one yet.
Here's Sam Adeo and Dylan Matthews. So Ida really coming down early. They're pulling something there. And I'd imagine Ludovic's going to come down here as well. Ooh, I don't know about that. Because there's only going to be about 10 laps to go once this cycle is complete. And you got to have speed early on, because it's going to be a short run to the end of this race. And en route to another caution-free race here in the Wawa Cup Series as well. Oh boy, Troxel. Troxel definitely playing the big brain move right there, trying to get around Logan Williams here. Blaine Keys coming down as well. And imagine Ludovic's going to come down this time by Drew Webb, Rogaldorn, a lot of guys in the back. Braden Perez is down. There's Ludovic. I don't know if Ludovic's going to really gain much, though, here. And it's going to get tight with Ludovic and these guys. I still think Ludovic's going to get into the top 10 the way they're currently running. There's Sam Adeo coming off the pit lane. We'll have to see if this 59 can gain any time. Logan Williams still out there. Sam Adeo's teammate. Williams going to come down the pit lane right here. Matt Tuck as well. And then Chase Buck in line. Travis Crampton staying out a little bit later right there. Going to be interesting to see if they can gain anything. Here's Trinidad. She's currently a lap down. Monaco's going to come down. Zeidel's going to stay out another lap. And currently has San Mateo a lap down now. So if we do end up with a caution, that's going to put San Mateo a lap down. And thankfully, I think we're still running green. Been a nice clean race so far. And let's see, where is that 62 machine? Where's that 95 going to come out in relation to Troxel here? Good run for Troxel off the pit lane. Let's see what happens here as they cross the line. Logan Williams in the 95 machine. You know, he may have gone 2 tires. I'm really not focusing on what these guys are doing. That 95 looking to stay out here and keep ahead of the 62 machine. He might be able to do it. Troxel's going to get around Matt Tuck, but Williams has a significant gap there on Troxel for the race lead. It's going to be 10 laps to go next time by. And Williams, he's got a good gap there on the 62 here, coming to 10 to go.
And that's one thing that we didn't really mention is that potentially, depending on when these guys pitted, if you pitted sooner, maybe you had to take 2 tires and 4 tires, but maybe the later you gone, maybe you could have took 2 tires, or maybe some of these guys took no tires. We don't really know for sure, but a massive lead for Logan Williams here, and I think as long as this thing stays green, I think he should be able to get the job done here. Troxel in second.
And Williams has to be careful around lap traffic here. Philip Torres, Laura Chung ahead of him right here. We'll have to see what Williams ends up clocking in. Ahead of Troxel, 2.76 with 9 laps to go here at the Nashville Superspeedway. So, solid run there off the pit lane for Logan Williams. Interesting to see that strategy actually work. He had the later stop and it worked to his favor. Troxel is second. Matt Tuck, Blaine Keys, Chase Buck, Nicholas Samadeo, Travis Crampton 7th. Braden Perez, Dylan Matthews, Eric Monaco. Here we go. Ludovic, he's going to gain a couple of positions here, and I think this could be it. Aliera still way behind, but she's now 34th. Tanner Parton is 39th. And Parton, unfortunately for him, he is not going to make the chase with that run. Seth Cole filing in, still in the 26th position. So I am fairly confident that it is going to be Dylan Matthews, Matt Tuck, and then Braden Perez, Ludovic Charette, Seth Cole in the top 10. Tanner Parton falls outside. He does not have a win. Aliera and Travis Crampton with the wild cards. I think that is how it is. We will confirm before we leave here today. Logan Williams, he is hoping to get this win, but Troxel might be a bit faster here. This 62 is closing in, lap traffic in the way. Let's see how it all goes down as it's 6 to go next time by here in the Cracker Barrel 400 at Nashville.
Well, 6 laps to go. I know this is not the BC Rich Guitars sponsor race, but we are still in the Music City. Someone's gonna get a guitar. I wonder what kind of guitar it will be, and I wonder who wants it more with 6 laps to go, and lap traffic's gonna decide it. I think Troxel has the fastest overall car. I think Williams has a pretty good car, but the lap traffic, how fast can Troxel get through it, and how fast can Williams add to the cars being up lap to lap down. 3 lap cars in between them, with 5 laps to go.
And Williams, I think he wants this win more. And nothing against Troxel, but Troxel, boy. Guess what, guys? The way they currently run, well, it's 11-point gap, but Troxel has led laps in this race. So Troxel, based on the bonus points for leading laps, is going to win the regular season title the way they currently run. But I take that back, because Drew Webb has gotten around Ludovic Charette for 12th. If Drew Webb gets another position and Troxel does not win this race, I think Drew Webb's going to get that regular season title. And that's a decent amount of bonus points right there. Compared from first to second, you get 15 for winning the regular season title, you get 9 for finishing second in the points, and then on top of that, 3 bonus points for each win that you have. That's a tight one right there for the regular season title, and I think Drew Webb and Thomas Troxel are actually tied for it right now. And because they have the same amount of wins, it goes down to average finishing position, and I don't know what to tell you about that one. I'm not that good at math. We're going to leave it at that. Seth Cole's still 27th. Ludovic Charette still 13th. He's under fire from Justin Zidell, and watch out for him there, but it's 2 laps to go next time by for Logan Williams in the 95, and he's pulled back away there from Thomas Troxel. Looking pretty good for the 95, but still 2 to go on this Cracker Barrel 400.
Well, it's been a pretty good one here at Nashville. Caution-free, not incident-free, but caution-free. Clean pit stops, and Logan Williams, he just has to survive 1.5 more laps, and he's going to get a guitar in Music C. And finally, the bad luck is going to switch over to good luck. But definitely one of the fastest cars here today. And Troxel, only 1 car separates him from Logan Williams, but it's going to be too little too late with 1 lap to go.
White flag in the air here in the Cracker Barrel 400 for Logan Williams in the 95. The shame for him is that he's not going to make the chase, even though he is leading this race. Thomas Troxel too far behind. Tough break for Echo Evans-Ross. She just could not hold on to it. A lap down on that 39. Going to take her out of the wild card spot. Ludovic still there in 13th. We'll catch him in a second. Meanwhile, Logan Williams. He's going to get his first win of the season. Coming in at turn number 4, Logan Williams wins the Cracker Barrel 400 in Nashville. Thomas Troxel will finish second. Matt Tuck's going to finish in the 3rd position. He's in the chase. Blaine Keys, even though he finished 4th, not a good enough run as Crampton finished in 7th. Allier with her issues finishing a lap down. She's going to have to fall back on a wild card. Braden Perez there in the 8th position should move his way into the top 10. Dylan Matthews is locked in. Drew Webb finished 12th. I cannot tell you right now who's won the regular season title. Ludovic Charette finishing 13th, a good run for him. He will surpass Tanner Parton and Aliera in the championship standings. Seth Cole finished 27th, and I don't think there was anybody close enough to him to surpass him in the championship standings. You got Brad Stover there. He was 24 behind, but Stover only gained 11 points on him. You know, I'm going to quit the speculation. Where is Logan? I think Logan Williams already went to the garage. Logan Williams wins here at the Nashville Superspeedway. We're going to leave it at that. Nathan, I'll let you do the talking right here as I export these files out to determine officially who is in the Wawa Cup Series chase.
Oh boy, what can we say about this race? What can we say about the regular season? Caution-free, 3-way battle with the top 3, Logan Williams, Thomas Troxel, and Matt Tuck, but Logan Williams got there after the first round of pit stops and ended up taking it away from Troxel after the second round of pit stops, and Logan Williams a feel-good win after all the bad luck this season. And unfortunately, for some of those drivers that had some bad luck in this race, like Ali and Seth Cole and Tanner Pullen, and it'll be interesting what ends up happening, but a pretty good one here at Nashville. Caution-free, not incident-free, but no shenanigans, and a pretty good one here in the Cracker Barrel for.
So here we go. You see the points there officially on your screen, and Nathan, I'm going to do this for you as well so you can see it too. Thomas Troxel and Drew Webb are tied for the points lead after the regular season. As I said, average finishing positions next in line after wins, not top 5s or top 10s. So because of that, as you see, Troxel wins the regular season title. Nicholas Samadeo, 3rd. Chase Buck, 4th. LJ Sameto, 5th. Dylan Matthews, 6th. Matt Tuck, 7th. Brain Perez, 8th. Seth Cole in 9th. And Ludovic Charette with the last chase spot. 9 points ahead of Brad Stover. Unfortunately for Tanner Parton, that wreck knocked him out. That was exactly what Ludovic needed. The first wild card goes to Travis Crampton, and the second wild card goes to Aliera, just as I predicted. My goodness, and I feel so much for Tanner Parton in this race because he had a great run going and then got taken out. At least Ali had that win, had the 2 wins at the beginning of the season to back up on, and she will still be in contention for the title. But that's gotta hurt. But Ludovic Charette is the one who benefits from that. He is in the Wawa Cup Series chase. Wow. Wow, that's just amazing right there. Official results of the Cracker Barrel 400. Logan Williams, Thomas Troxell, Matt Tuck, Blaine Keys, and Chase Buck, the top 5. And then you got Sam Adio, Crampton, Perez, Dylan Matthews, and Eric Monaco rounding out the top 10. And then back in here, Alier and Tanner Parton. That right there was where it all went south for those drivers. And, wow, at least Sierra had the wild card. She's still in, but Tanner Parton will fail to qualify for the Wawa Cup Series chase. Thoughts on that, Nathan? And I know you gotta be happy that Travis made it in and he's going for a title here in the Wawa Cup Series 2023.
Man, I am happy that we are battling for a Sprint Series title and a, hopefully Sprint Series title, but, I'm especially here in the Wawa Cup Series side of things for Crampton. If you asked me a month ago if we were going to get in with that wild card, I said probably not, but he's a road course guy, did good at the last 2 road course races, set himself up, and barely made, got to think of the crew for having a long one car, for sure, but how about that for the regular season title?
Yeah.
Tied, and it was only, I think, 13.35 compared to a 13.50.
Yeah, it was really close right there.
Very tight.
And I think in real life, the tiebreaker is actually top 5s and top 10s, and if that were the case, Drew Webb would get it, but average finishing position does talk a lot more about the longevity of the season than the top 5s and top 10s, and Thomas Troxell had a lot more runs just outside there that ended up meaning a lot more of a consistent run. I mean, I feel bad that that's what determines it. I know it's not the championship, but that's tight one right there, and that's a difference of 6 points going into the chase. So Troxell's going to have the advantage going into Chicagoland next Friday because he did win the regular season title officially based on average finishing position, and Drew Webb is going to end up falling to second. The difference is going to be 6 points, and we'll just have to see how that ends up affecting the title in 10 weeks when we get to Labor Day weekend and the Meliello Southern 500. Wow, what a race it was, and it was caution-free as well. And Logan Williams gets the win. You know, we were talking about all these different chase drivers, and a guy who had no chance of making the chase coming into the day goes to victory lane with Logan Williams. Great to see that. That is Caleb Rose's second win of the season in the Wawa Cup Series, and great to see his driver get it done. His other driver will be in the chase, though, going for a championship. That's Nicholas Sambadio. And I'm going to start with you, Nathan, here. We got the 12 drivers. We got Thomas Troxell, Drew Webb, Nicholas Sambadio, Chase Buck, LJ Sametto, Dylan Matthews, Matt Tuck, Braden Perez, Seth Cole, Ludovic Charette, Travis Crampton, and Aliera. Which one of those 12 gets the Wawa Cup Series championship in 10 weeks?
Okay. I'm just gonna go on the facts here. Bias Travis Crampton, really? I don't know. The 98 has not had a consistent speed. But as far as consistent speed, it's a toss-up. But I'm gonna say my safe pick is Thomas Troxell. Been fast all year. Won the regular season championship barely. I think he's gonna get the job done.
We're going to have to see how it all goes down. I look for Drew Webb. Don't count out Mr. Edge. Nicholas Sambadio, even though he has yet to go to victory lane this season, that 59 has been really good. And his teammate won here today, and they're both driving the same car essentially, so a lot of speed there in that Appalachian Motorsports camp. And they may have a slight advantage because, you know, now that Logan's out, you know, they can really put a lot more focus on Sambadio, and that may end up benefiting them because you got both Titan Fury cars in the chase. both Pacific Racing cars in the chase. But fascinatingly enough, those are the only two teams where both drivers made the chase. And this is kind of fascinating because the owner ratings absolutely came into effect this season, but so did the driver ratings as well. And we have ourselves 10 different teams represented in the Wawa Cup Series chase. We got Pacific Racing, we have Titan Fury Racing, we got Appalachia Motorsports, Hamill Racing Enterprises, Grattan Autosport, Team Williams, Trinity River Racing, Andrews Racing, NS Racing, and Dracoan Racing Enterprises. And they're all going to be going for it there with their drivers, and it's very widespread. A lot of parity considering the ratings, and I'm excited to see who gets this Wawa Cup Series chase. That's it for us here from Nashville. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to the 12 chase drivers on making it into the Wawa Cup Series chase here in 2023. And the chase begins next Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with the Sirius XM 400 from Chicagoland. That's going to be a wild race. Can't wait to see how it all goes down there. Huge thanks to Nathan Stablin for joining me for the call of this race. A huge congratulations to Logan Williams on his race victory here in the Cracker Barrel 400. And we'll see you guys next week for the beginning of the Wawa Cup Series chase here in 2023. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Here are the point standings going into that race, the updated chase standings. And we'll see you guys in the Sirius XM 400 from Chicagoland. I will see you guys later.